How you doing, everyone? So I thought I'd do an update on the cancer journey, just to let you know how I'm getting on, have been feeling, and how I got diagnosed. I thought it'd be good for me to explain how I got to find out. So very briefly, just to start off with, feeling a lot better now than I was a few weeks ago. So I'm 2 months after being diagnosed with prostate cancer, and the initial kind of shock has thankfully eased off. So I'm not happy with it, but I'm dealing with it a lot better now. But I wanted to let you know how I got diagnosed. Quite a few people asked me that question. So how did I get diagnosed? I basically went to the doctors with a bad back. So I had a bad back for quite a while, and I wanted to get it checked out. So I went to the doctors, and they performed, they booked me in for an x-ray, and they took some blood. X-ray was fine, back was okay. Still sore, but it was okay. But the blood showed up on a blood test that my PSA levels were high. So I'd never heard of PSA levels before. So when they said your PSA levels are high, we could do with doing some more checks, then they didn't really go into this means you've got cancer or anything. They just said we need to do some more checks. So I was, yeah, that's fine, no problem at all. Let's do whatever you need to. So from then, had more blood taken, and the levels were still high on a second test. So then you had to get a prostate exam, which the dreaded fingers up the bum job. So that came up with inconclusive, felt a little strange. It felt very strange for me, but they said it didn't feel normal, but it didn't feel as if they'd found something. So I had to get referred to the hospital for the same process. So up to the hospital, they did the same thing. So you get used to bending over on a bed with some strange person sticking the fingers up your bum, which one doctor at the hospital had very, very big fingers, which wasn't very good. So he also came up with the same kind of theory that he could feel something, didn't feel as if there was nothing there, but it didn't feel as if with this big lump, this is definitely cancer. So from then, I had to have an MRI. He said in this case where they can feel something and they're not too sure, they usually suggest having an MRI. So I had an MRI, and that came back, same again, showed something, but thankfully it wasn't showing, yes, this is a big lump and you have cancer. So at this point I was just, yeah, it's all fine. You're doing your checks, which is great. I'd rather get checked out and get the all clear, so that's fine. Ingrid at this point was becoming a bit more concerned, but didn't let on to me. I was just happy as Larry. Yep, do whatever you need to. So after the MRI, then they said, okay, seeing as though it's not come back totally negative, we'd like to do a biopsy. So it's back up to the hospital to have a biopsy on your prostate, which basically they take, well, on me anyway, they did 6 biopsies on one side of my prostate and 6 biopsies on the other side. Prostate's got two halves to it, apparently. I had no idea beforehand. And the results came back from that, that one side, one of the 6 were positive for cancer, and on the other side, all 6 were positive for cancer. So I got a phone call the day before New Year's Eve to tell me that the results had come back. Unfortunately, positive, you have prostate cancer, and you'll have a follow-up appointment up at the hospital in 2 weeks' time to discuss treatment options, which I mentioned in the first video I did on this cancer journey. So that's how I found out. And that whole procedure took, I think I went to the doctors mid-October, I think it was. So it took from mid-October to have several tests done. So it was all fairly quick, which is good. So the NHS and the doctors did a great job in following it all up and getting the test done, getting the results back. So that was how I found out. I did actually go to the doctors a few years ago after watching Ricky Gervais was doing a prostate cancer awareness thing, and he was just mentioning guys mid to late 40s and up, you should go to the doctors to get checked out. So I did actually do that a few years ago and said to the doctor, but the doctor at the time said to me, do you have any symptoms? And I said no, and he said, you'll be fine, you don't need it checked. So I didn't think that was too great, but that made me think, I'm fine, unless you have symptoms. In my head, after that, you don't have it. So when I found out that I did actually have it, bolt from the blue, total shock, knocked me for six. But since getting the treatment decided, and I've had another conversation with the surgeon over the phone because he'd phoned me up, and we've now got a date for the operation, which will be late March. He did say that date might change though, so it's kind of penciled in at the moment. He said these things do swap and change now and again, so at the moment that is your date, but it might be later than that. So from mid-October till the end of March, theoretically, will be from going to the doctors, not having a clue anything was wrong, just thinking I had a sore back, to actually having my prostate removed. So that's a fairly quick turnaround. Over the past few weeks, after feeling pretty down for a good week after discussing the treatments, deciding on treatments and making that decision, I felt rubbish that week, really did. I felt much more upbeat. Now it's a bit more pragmatic approach of, right, this is the situation, this is what's going to happen, and this just order of events need to take place, and then you can start your recovery. It's just little things seem to get you down now and again. Things that wouldn't really bother you all the time. I find it hard to sleep. Has been hard to sleep on occasion. Or more than on occasion. Most nights struggle to sleep properly. And little things just annoy you and get to you more so than they would do before, just because you got a lot on your mind. And my mum passed away last week, so that was quite a big thing. So the past week's not been great, but that's been more along the lines of worrying about, my mum's passed away, figuring out things about the funeral, travelling, all COVID things just complicate things. So there's been a lot going on. It's been a rubbish start to the year, but prostate cancer wise, I have felt more comfortable with the situation. So that's good. So certainly I'd say to anyone out there watching mid-40s upwards, as long as you're a guy, go to the doctor and ask for a blood test. You don't have to. I thought if you were going to go and ask about getting checked for prostate, it would just be bend over, fingers up your bum, let's check you out. That doesn't need to be the case. They can just take a small sample of blood, just takes seconds, no time at all, and they'll check it for your PSA levels. Your PSA levels, if they're above, they're usually really, really low, so like 0 to 1 or 2 is normal as far as I'm aware. If it's over 4, then there's alarm bells ringing, and I had 2 done, and they seemed to take the lower reading of the 2. So my lower reading was 10.5. My higher reading was slightly more, but they take the lower reading. So with the higher reading, that's what started the chain of events of getting yourself checked with the different things that we did. So that is pretty much where I'm up to. So now I've just got less than a month before hopefully I get the prostate removed, and then I'm trying to think of it as trying to think of it as a positive thing. It's definitely positive because they caught it early. So if I hadn't have gone to the doctors and just got my back checked and they took blood, I was very lucky that that doctor thought about taking blood. So that was great. Doctor did a great job. But if I hadn't have done that, sort of 10 years could have gone down the line, I would have had it. It would have been getting worse. And when I started to potentially would have had problems and felt pain, then I would have been in a lot worse situation. So doing it this way, catching it nice and early. I know it had spread all over on one side, but they've still caught it nice and early. It's not travelled out with the prostate, so they can just remove the prostate and then it's away. I just need to then recover, start building things up slowly. So in my head, it's a rest from running. My body's going to get a rest. Any aches and pains I've got, which you've always got aches and pains as a runner, so they should theoretically disappear, hopefully. And then when I can start running again after 6 weeks, hopefully any little niggles I've got will be away. The surgeon did say, it's one of the first questions I said to him, when can I start running? Can I start slowly jogging or something? A few weeks after the operation, he was point blank, no running at all for a good 6 weeks because it's stressful on your body. So I'll probably go slightly round the bend, not being able to go for runs, but I'm thinking of it as rehabilitation for any other aches and pains I may have. So think of the positives. But do head to the doctors, ask for a PSA check, get yourself checked out, and hopefully everyone out there is fine. But yep, that is my second update. I'll do another update after I've had the operation. So in another month, I'll maybe do one of these sort of videos once a month for the next few months, just to let you see how the whole process has gone. And hopefully I'll be cheerier each time because it'll be gone and I'll be on the road to recovery. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, and do go to the doctors, get yourself checked out if you haven't done so already. Okay, bye now.